Sure. Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started. We have Rebecca on. I'm so excited to hear from her. We will just start off with if you want to share your story, and then we'll get into our questions after that.
Okay, so my name is Rebecca. I am a double diamond leader. I joined this business about 17 months ago, and I remember just being broke and struggling. Me and my husband's been married for almost 16 years, and we were struggling our entire marriage financially. And I grew up in a poor background, so I've always just had the mindset that that's just basically how my life was supposed to be. And my enroller is Hannah Reeves. So she reached out to me for a year and a half. She never gave up. She followed up. She was very persistent in following up. I actually almost blocked her. And, because I had the mindset that there's absolutely no way you can make money from your phone. And I have done businesses like this before, actually about 7 or 8 businesses, and they just never worked for me. It's because I did not have a leader to actually run with me, to hold my hand, to teach me how to do all the things. So I was terrified. Okay, so I want y'all to keep that in mind, that as you're talking to people, people are going to be terrified. These things are going to go through their minds. And so anyways, in short, I promoted to diamond really quick. Went diamond in 90 days, and it has completely changed our life, our business, my whole mindset, confidence. I was not this confident at all, but it has grown a lot since me starting this business and doing this journey. My husband even told me before, he's like, who is this person? Like, just being completely different. So it's changed me in more ways than one, more than just financially. I'm actually able to do this full time now. I did work in the medical field pretty much since 2008, and I was a CMA and phlebotomist and all of the things. And so God set this up for such a time as this. And I'm just so thankful for that, because now I'm able to do this full time, and it pays for us completely more than full-time income and all the things. So that's just my story, very short.
Yes, I love it. That's amazing. Okay, so I know you completed your 4-in-1 last month, and you've already completed it this month, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna dig in, and I'm ready to hear like all your tips. So if you want to start us with like the loyal customers, what have you been doing to get your 4 loyal customers?
Okay, so guys, I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. When they introduced this 4-in-1, I was super excited. I was super excited because it is literally so simple, especially for people that, because one of the things I do want you to realize is you do not have to be a master enroller to be successful in this business. Okay, you can literally just do the simple steps, and first off, take quitting off the table. Okay, quitting cannot even be in your mind. It can't be in your vocabulary or anything like that. And just go with the mindset of keep going. So one of the things that I do for customers is I'm constantly doing host to post. This is a thing that I do not back down on. It is one thing that even if I'm busy during my day and I'm not able to get everything that I want to get done during my day, is I will make sure I get my host to post up. Okay, so basically what I do is I have a set schedule. Now, this may look a little different for you depending on what your schedule is. If you have to kind of condense this down, because I do this with my newbies that do work full time. But anyway, so I send like 30 messages out first thing in the morning. And then I also send 30 messages at lunch and right before I go to bed. And these are messages to get host to post up. Okay. So I go to my friends list and I will click on somebody and I would go down their mutual friends. So let's just say I have a friend on my Facebook and they have like 30 plus friends. Guess what? I'm going to get my 30 messages sent within like 5 minutes, if that. Okay. It's literally so simple. My first message really just says, hey, I have a quick question for you. There are some people that use methods where it's just straightforward, like, hey, can you do me a favor? And then they tell what that favor is. For me, what's working for me is doing that. I'm getting responses on what those questions are. Now, when you do send these messages out, don't be like, get upset if somebody tells you no, because there are some salty people in this world, okay? And there are people that are very negative because they were probably like me. did not believe that this business was legit, did not believe that this business really worked. So y'all keep that in mind. Like when somebody is salty to you or being rude or has rude comments, very first thing I say, okay, have a blessed day, and just move on and go find that one that will, okay? And that is really the biggest thing is that mindset in that, because I get a lot of newbies say, well, nobody wants to post for me. And the thing is you got to keep asking. If you're only asking 5 people, you're not going to get very many responses. Okay. So you've got to make sure you make the however many people you are asking to put up a host to post, because it's all about that. Okay. So I do that. That's 90 messages every single day. And so I do that every single day. Now, if there are days where I'm like crazy, absolutely crazy, I will at least try to do my morning and before I go to bed. And the reason why I do the one before I go to bed, I don't respond to the ones before I go to bed because I want to leave them in my inbox. And what that means is when I wake up in the morning, I start off my day getting host to post up by responding to those people before I go on with my crazy busy schedule. And that really does help. So host to post, if you are not doing host to post, I will be the first to tell you that I lost rank because of me just getting lazy with host to post. Okay. So anytime I see my enrollments down, very first thing I'm going to say is, Rebecca, are you being consistent in your host to post? Because it's so easy to not enjoy it. So one of the ways that I find to actually enjoy doing host to post, I love listening to music. I love jamming to music. So what am I going to do? I want to put music in my ears and I want to be jamming to music. And it just gets me in that rhythm, in that mode. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just in the sending message mode. Okay. And it makes sending messages for host to post a whole lot more fun. So you've got to find some way to get yourself into it, because if you don't like it, not everybody likes sending messages for host to post. It is not my least favorite thing. But when I have my music on and I'm jamming and I'm loving my music, then that's going to get me going. That's going to keep me messaging people. And the next thing you know, like within 5 minutes, I'm done with that. Okay. And so that is very, very important. The other way I get my customers is follow-ups. You have got to have some kind of system with follow-ups, guys, because if you don't, you will miss out. And I've learned this really, really hard lesson early in the business. And I did not have a system of following up. I was just going to my messenger, just scrolling and seeing, okay, well, who have I not talked to in like forever? And then checking messages. That is very time consuming. That is going to consume a lot of your time. And then you're going to feel like you're on your phone 24/7, when really this business does not require you to be on your phone 24/7. Okay. Because you have a life. If you're a mom, if you work full time, if you're a wife, I mean, you've got things you got to do. So you can't have your phone literally glued to your face. Okay. So I had to learn that the hard way. So follow up, write them down somehow. Whether that is putting them in your calendar in your phone, which is the way I do it. And I usually put them in parentheses on what product it is that I'm going to follow up with them on. If they, I send them a price and they don't respond, yeah, I'm not going to automatically assume that they're ghosting me or leaving me on red. I'm thinking, hey, they may be a mom and maybe they have a kid that's stuck in the toilet and they're trying to get them out of the toilet and get them cleaned up. I mean, it's mom life, okay? So you never know what's going on. They could be driving, they could be at the grocery store when they saw your message and completely forget. And so I've had so many people that I would check on and they'd be like, girl, I'm so thankful that you did follow up with me because I completely forgot about it, or something like that. So the way I follow up is, if they haven't responded to a price, is I just say, hey, I'm just checking. I'm sorry if I caught you at a bad time, but did that sound good to you? And that usually gets a response back from them. And that really helps with, because I'm following up with those, even the people that tell me that they're going to buy at a certain time. If they don't buy at a certain time, I'm not going to get my panties in a bunch. I'm going to follow up with them again the next week or two. Okay. So you've got to make sure you're being very consistent in follow-ups, because if you're not, that's where you're missing a lot of the sales, because there is truly fortune in the follow-up. There has been people I have followed up with for almost a year before they actually joined the business or signed up as a customer, whichever. But it rise because they were watching my story. They were watching how I'm getting my results, how my husband's lost 57 pounds with our products alone. And so that itself is also helping too, showing up in my story, showing my face, but also posting on my Facebook, letting people know that I am a real person. I'm not just someone behind the screen. I am a mom, and I've actually had people message me and say, I know this about you. And they literally just came on my Facebook. Why? Because I am very open book, and I let them know I'm a real person. I have a life. We do ministry. I've been married for almost 16 years, and I have a 10-year-old daughter. Okay. And just all of these things. And so let people know who you are. Brand yourself, find out who you are, and the people are going to fall in love with you before they fall in love with the product. And that's the reason why they follow you. And that is something I really had to learn, because I was always looking at so and so, like, oh, I want to try to act like so and so, and then, oh man, I really like her, and then the way she does things. But there's nothing wrong with taking a tip from his person and this person, but don't be afraid to be yourself, because that's what people are going to be more open to buy from you, is because they see that you are the true you. Okay. So that's another thing that I've actually opened that up, and that people see that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm closing the deal right on the spot, because they know, if you ever get anyone that you're talking to them about product and they're scared to buy from you, another thing that I do is I send them a voice message. And it lets them know on the other end, like, hey, and then it also lets them hear the passion that you have about the product. First off, you've got to believe in the product, okay? If you have not tried a product, I encourage you to try something. Fall in love with the product. Choose a core group of products that you really like. Mine is the gummies, the coffee, and I love our Thermify X, and our iced coffee is my jam, okay, in the afternoons. And just those different products, and people know that, because that's what I talk about all the time. I actually did a poll just to help with boosting my algorithm and stuff. And I said, I want you to tell me just two things about me. What do you know about me? And a lot of people were saying that I love my family and I love coffee, or I love Jesus and I love coffee. And that's because that's what I talk about all the time. So make sure you are putting that out to your audience so that they know who you are, that you're not just a it works ad. You've got to be you. Okay. And finding out, like, if you have people that you follow, some leaders and stuff, make sure you're copying the right cat, because that really does help too. Don't copy exactly what they're doing, but get those ad deals from them. It really, really helps a lot. But those are the main things that I am doing as far as getting customers. If I am pushing for month end, I do cold message for customers, but it's very, very rare that I do that. But for the most part, I am following up and getting host to post, posting and showing up in my stories. And that is the main things that are helping me getting customers.
Oh, good. I already have a whole page of notes. This is awesome. For your host to post, is your goal 10 a day?
So I used to have a goal where I'll try to do 10 or 15 a day, but now since I've been doing this system, I get as many as I can. Whoever will do, like, I'm sending 30, 30, and 30. So that's a total of 90 messages. There are some days doing that method, I only get like 2 or 3 host to post up, but then there's some days I'll get 23. So it kind of evens out during the whole entire week. One thing that I will say, when I do get host to post, I'm writing them down in my notebook. So I am very red. So doing this, I literally had to train myself, because if you know anything about red personalities, no organization whatsoever. Okay. We don't do the whole writing down and having everything printed, nothing like that. It's just go for it, like hardcore. And that's just how we are. And so I had to teach myself to do this. And this was to really train myself to be able to see how many messages I'm actually sending and how many messages. And it also helped me being accountable every single day. So I write them down in my notebook. Anytime someone says yes, they'll throw up a post for me. Their name goes in my notebook. And then once they say that they posted for me, I highlight their name, okay? And of course, I go and save the post. But if the ones that are not highlighted for the next day, guess what? I'm going to go check in on them and I'll say, hey, I just wanted to check in to see, were you able to get that post thrown up for me? I'm following up with those as well, okay? So after a couple of times of following up with that, if they still leave me on red, then I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm not going to, bug them about it. But if they're going to post for me, they're going to post for me. If they don't want to, then that's okay as well. So that is what I am doing as far as like keeping track of that. And then and like I said, for anyone that is interest, any kind of interest, they go in my follow-up calendar on my phone. But so, like I said, it just kind of evens out how many I'm getting today.
So good. I saw a question in the chat. What does saving posts do? Essentially, it's just easier to go back and find it, to check the comments on the post to see if you need to go message anyone, add someone, whatever you may need to do with your host to post. You can just easily go to your save section and pull those posts up of people who have posted for you, and then you can check the comments like every day or something. Okay, so let's continue. So we have 4 and now we need to talk about our 1. So tips on getting your distributors. What do you have to say about getting distributors?
Okay, so this one is a big one for me because when I first joined the business, I used to say I cannot sign a distributor for the life of me. Okay, I'm a firm believer there is power of life and death in the tongue. What you speak is what you get. Okay. And I was speaking that over my business, and it was actually my enroller that had to point that out. She said, "Sis, you need to stop speaking that. You need to start saying that you are a master enroller when it comes to distributors, and that they come to you. Okay. And that God is going to bring you the people that are supposed to be in your business. And you need to believe that." And so that is literally a mindset shift. So first and foremost, you need to ask yourself, what is your mindset about signing distributors? Are you scared to sign distributors? I completely get the fear, but you have to be confident. If you are very brand new, be confident that your leader, just like they're holding your hand, guess what? They're also going to help you with that in person as well. My people know that I help them train them. Okay. I don't expect that of them. Okay. So take that fear off of your shoulders, just like, that's something you do not have to carry. Okay. So be confident in talking to people. Be confident, be excited. If you're excited about something, people are really going to grab a hold of that and be like, "When I want what she has." So make sure you're excited about that. If you are like, "Well, I just joined and I don't know how to be excited about this business," be excited. Like, think about, what would that $5,000 do for you? And then be excited about that. Okay. If you haven't made an income from this business, you seriously need to think about and write those things. Think about, what would that $150 check do for you? What would that $500 do for you? What would that $3,500 right before Christmas do for you, paid in one lump sum? Okay. To me, that's mind blowing because I've earned some bonuses before and they've never done this since I've been in the business. So I'm like, yes, that's going to pay for my vacation. That is going to pay for my Christmas. And we used to have to stress on Christmas. My husband was Mr. Scrooge when it came to Christmas because he hated being broke because we did not have money and he knew how it was. I was going to put off the electric bill or something to try to make sure I did Christmas. And then we were struggling afterwards. Well, ever since I've been doing this business, I don't have to worry about that. And I really don't have to worry about that this year. So I'm really excited. So be excited about that. Okay. Because if you're excited about that, there are other people out there that are thinking like, what am I going to do? So post in your stories, like if you don't know, or not your stories, but you can do it in your stories, but on your Facebook, post something about, be personal. Okay. So if you're doing your first business post, I want you to, like I said, I want you to write those things down and throw it in a post. Be personal. Don't be afraid to be you. Okay. Don't be afraid to let people know, guess what? I'm just so excited because once I get this bonus, it is going to do X, Y, and Z for me and my family. And I can teach you how to do the same. And that will, because there are people out there that are struggling just like you may be struggling right now, or that you may have already gone through. And so the other thing is don't be afraid to ask people about the business. That has been a fear of mine for a very long time. And that is something that I literally had to break down that wall and that barrier is every time someone posts a post for me, I am offering them the business. I am talking to them about the business. I'll just literally say, "Hey, I appreciate you throwing up that post for me. I got you entered into our giveaway. Just a really quick question. That is literally what I do. Would you be open to get some more information about what I do?" And then just open up that conversation. And the other thing that I literally recently just did, and I was very, very scared and nervous about this because first I want to say this. I want someone to put a 1 in the chat if you are a shy person. If you're like, "I'm very shy. I don't like being in front of the camera. I don't like talking to people. And if I have to stand in front of 1,000 people, I just freeze up." Okay. that was me. Okay. My husband, he will be like, I don't know about all that because I can't get you to shut up now. But the whole point is I came a long ways from that because I was willing to step out of my comfort zone for those things. So doing this next thing I'm getting ready to tell you, it was something that I had to step out of the comfort zone, is I had to get out from under the scripts. Okay. When I'm talking to someone about the potential business that we have, I was sitting there like just sending them scripts. And then I'll be like, well, I don't understand, because I want to talk about last month, for example. I'm going to give you all an example on this. So last month, I had over 60 something potentials in one day. And in the entire month, I only signed 2 distributors. I looked back and I go, whoa, what is going on? What am I missing here? What is the thing that I'm missing? And so I went back. I started reevaluating myself. And I'm like, I sound like a scripted lady. That is literally all I sound. Why? Because that shyness, all just building up, like, oh, I don't know, I'm not going to go a little more personal with them. And so I have to kick down the wall by starting to send voice messages to them. Okay. And then just explaining to them and just being excited about the business. Be like, girl, you don't understand. Like, this business has completely changed our life, and just yada, yada, yada. And sharing my story in voice messages. I probably send like 10, 15 voice messages, and I apologize to them afterwards. But the whole point is they actually, they're like, oh, I'm so excited. And I have one girl that I signed when I finished my 4-in-1 on the first day of this month. She joined my business, and it was all because I sent voice memos. She literally just became my Facebook friend, and she didn't know anything about me. But her very first message was, I'm not so sure. She's like, I'm looking for something like this, but I'm afraid because there are so many people that are scammers out there. Okay, so that is why a lot of people are really scared and afraid of this. So when I sent her those voice messages, and she heard how excited I had and how passionate I am about what I do, and that I want to help other ladies to have their lives changed just like it changed mine, what she told me, she said, girl, she's like, just hearing your voice makes me excited about this business. And it changed her entire perspective of that this could be a scammer, because she knew I was somebody behind the screen. She knew I was a real person, and that I was honest, and I was excited, I was legit, and all this other stuff. So she signed on the spot. That was the first time I actually experienced someone signing on the spot. Normally I would have to follow up with them like the 20th, 5th time, say, hey, it's me again. I'm just wanting to see, are you ready to make some money, and just all of that stuff. And so guys, seriously, if you're just sitting scripts, that's your problem. Okay. It's okay to send the scripts because it's like basic information. But after I send the first script, basically what we do, I jump right in and I share my story in voice messages. And I say, guess what? I can help you earn $5,000 before Christmas if you join me right now. Right now is the perfect time to get joined in this business. And that completely changed the game for me. And I actually have so many people that even after I told them the price of the business, they were ready to join. Now, I want you to put 2 in the chat if you were like, well, I'm afraid to tell people the price of what our kit is. Because that, for me, that was the biggest thing as well. I'm like, ooh, our kit went up just a little bit, but guess what? They get the triple threat. I wish I had that when I first joined. Be excited about that, because you know the value that our kit has and the value that it brings. And not only are they getting all this cool stuff in their kit, but they actually are getting to join a fun business. And I always kind of joke with them, be like, hey, you get to hang out with me, and just be real with them and just be excited. And I really promise you, it will change people's perspective on what they see in the business. And they want to be a part of something that's exciting and something that will change their lives. So I hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you. That's so good. These tips are amazing. Okay, so we have like a few more, so I want to try to get straight to these. But how are you training your newbies to complete their 4-in-1 too?
Okay, so honestly, I'm diving right into HostPost. Okay, so the very first thing I want to do is I give them the apps that they need to download. And then I dive right into HostPost. Now, I want to be honest with you. I do not tell them to send 30 3 times a day, because being a new person, not knowing exactly what to do, especially if they are a busy mom, working full time and yada, yada, I tell them, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to send this message to 15 of your friends. When you're done, let me know. I literally walk them, and you have to like hold their hand and take those baby steps. Don't just go, oh, I do this, that. And you have this big list of things that you do. And they're like, whoa. They start backing away, and then they get, oh, this is a little more than I even bargained for. So the biggest thing is like when you get them started, is getting them started in Host to Post and showing them how easy and simple it is, that they literally can send 15 messages in less than 5 minutes. I've had several of them send me a message. I'm like, wow, that's actually pretty easy. And the whole concept is to let them know that it's really simple and easy, and getting them in the routine of sending those messages. And then eventually it's going to be a little more messages. And then after they tell me they're done, then I'll be like, okay, well, now we're going to go and we're going to add about 20 people on Facebook friends, and different things like that. And then after they're done, if they're not like crazy busy, then I'll give them their first post. But I literally walk them step by step. I let them know I'm going to hold their hand through the whole process. And I also let them know to be very open and communicate with me on how they're feeling, different things like that, because it is really nerve-wracking when they don't know what they're doing, and all of that. So you honestly, as a leader, you have to be a leader. Okay. And what I mean by that is truly because they've trusted you when they joined this business. They trusted you to hold their hand. You've got to hold their hand, but not only that, but also like connect with them every single day. There is not a day that I don't go by with connecting. When I first started this business, that was a big part of the business that I was missing, was connecting with my team, because that is when they, just crumble and fall and quit and give up and all of that stuff. Especially if they're new, you need to be connecting. If you're not connecting with them, that is what you're missing, because they will quit. And they've got to feel that connection, not just on a business level. They need to know what makes you you, and building that relationship with them. And my girls know that they can always come and talk to me. And I have a lot of prayer warriors on my team, but they know they can come and talk to me, and we can talk things out. If they're struggling in something, they know they can come to me. Why? It's because I have shown them that I will be there for them no matter what. And so that's kind of one of the things like I've learned as in newbies, that if you're not doing that, they will quit really, really quick.
I love that. And I love how we are like, how everything's switched and we're changing this to the 4-in-1, how you can grow those relationships like better than like mass enrolling and feeling like you have so many people. I love that we can build those relationships and focus on that. Let's see. So I kind of have 2 questions that I feel like might go together a little bit, but like whenever you talked about or I talked to you, you might not have talked about this too much, but whenever you lost rank to when you lost your diamond, can you talk about like rebuilding and rebuilding strong, and like what helped you through that? And then I guess to kind of tie into that, the other question was like, when you're in a slump, how do you get back on track? Like what helps you to refocus and be like, this is what I need to do, this is my task, and I'm going to get them done no matter what? Like how do you tell yourself or talk yourself into doing this if you don't feel like doing it?
So I actually, I want to be honest, like when I lost rank, I felt ashamed and embarrassed to even let people know that I lost rank, because I felt like I failed myself, and I felt like I failed a lot of people. But that was a lie from the enemy. Okay. One of the things was when I lost rank, it was what he was teaching me something. I don't know if any of y'all are faith believers and stuff. I speak about Jesus on here. I'm sorry, but God seriously taught me a lot of stuff. And I honestly feel like that was a season of building my character as a leader. And it had me step back and really reevaluate myself. But for one, part of losing rank was a little bit my fault. But for 2, I also feel that it was God teaching me something. And I got to that point, I was like, God, I surrender this business, because this business was yours before it wasn't even mine. And I when I fully surrendered that, that's when I started feeling the shift. But at the same time, I knew God was doing something in me to build the character that to the person that I am right now. And it literally took that 3 months. And I see that now. I didn't see it before. When I lost rank, it hit me in the gut. It hit me hard. So very first time I lost rank was let's see, I promoted to double in February, and then I lost that due to a leadership mistake of building somebody to diamond and not actually letting them go diamond. There's a huge difference between helping someone go diamond and then building them to diamond. And so I found myself carrying this whole entire weight. I'm sitting there trying to carry my team up this ladder, and it got hard. It got overwhelming, all the things. And the next thing I know, I lost that rank and it hit me in the gut. And then I kept diamond for the longest. I've never lost diamond since I promoted 3 months into the business. But when I lost diamond, it was because I started getting lazy. And it happened in June. I started getting lazy. I also started to believe that, oh, hey, I'm going diamond and all this other stuff, instead of actually putting my trust in God and knowing that God was the one that put me there. He's the one that brought me the customers. He's the one that brought me the distributors. And I lost sight of that. So that was a hard lesson to learn. But when I lost diamond, in that process, God was showing me some things. And what I mean by that was I had only a handful of people that were working on my team. And I was like, God, I don't understand. I have all these distributors. What am I missing? What am I missing? And he kept reminding me of a scripture that says, you be faithful in a few, I will make you ruler of many. What that means, if you be faithful in a few that he gives you, those few people, if it's 1 or 2 distributors, no matter what it is, if that one is showing on Zooms, or if that one is showing up, run with that one. Be faithful with that one. And I promise you, when you're faithful in that one, God's going to give you more, and he's going to give you more. But he has to trust you with that one few distributors first before he can even give you more. Okay. And so that was something that I really truly had to learn. And so what that did was God was showing me, like, hey, Rebecca, I'm giving you these people, but what are you doing with them? Are you truly being the leader that you need to be? Are you truly pouring into them? Are you truly being the double diamond leader? And God also showed me, because me and my team, we're going to the top. And we're unstoppable, and I'm excited. I'm like, yes, we're going to the top. I don't care what anybody says about me. I don't care about any of that. And so, and when you have that mindset, don't let anybody, I mean, absolutely nobody, not your friend, not your best friend, not your husband, not your boyfriend. And even, in the beginning, my husband did not believe in this business. He does now, because he sees the paychecks and he's like, hey, you're being my sugar mama or whatever. But anyway, so I had to block out the naysayers, and I had to block them out. When I felt like I was on the ground, I had to pick myself up and dust myself off and say, you know what? I may lost rank, but that's okay. I'm going to step back and I'm going to reevaluate myself and say, Rebecca, what were you doing when you went diamond? What got you to diamond? What helped you promote it to diamond? Well, I was being super, super consistent in host to post. I was super, super consistent in following up with people. I was actually helping my team a little bit, but because I strayed away from that, I got lazy. I got too comfortable. Guess what? God started stripping those cushions out from under me to make me uncomfortable. Okay. And so when that happened, it shook us, because Diamond was paying for all of our bills, everything else that we need. Okay. So if you're not Diamond, key is get to Diamond. I promise you, it unlocks so much more. Okay. It's amazing. So anyways, it shook us to the core, and we started struggling financially. And I have not experienced this at all in the business. And so, what helped me got myself back up? I looked at my husband, I looked at my daughter, in moments that I had to tell my daughter, baby girl, I'm sorry, I can't get you those new pair of pants that you're wanting, or those new pair of shoes that you're wanting, because mom lost rank and We don't have the money right now. And that was the hardest thing that I have ever had to do, because I haven't had to do that since I started this business. And it hit me so hard. It hit me so hard. I found myself crying. I found myself on my hands and knees asking God, why? Why did I lose Diamond? But God taught me so much in that journey. And that, for honestly, I feel like that it set me up as a stronger team. And he kept telling me, I'm preparing you for a comeback. I'm preparing you to have such a stronger comeback. But it starts right here. You've got to believe it. If you don't believe it, if you've lost rank, if you have, maybe you put a goal out there, maybe you didn't hit that goal. It doesn't matter what it is. You believe it. Say, you know what? I'm coming back for a comeback. I am going to come out of this, and I'm going to push hard. And here's the thing that I've learned. And I remember reaching out to Hannah about this, and I said, I don't understand. I hit Diamond so stinking quick and so stinking hard. And I'm like, I just don't understand. Why is it so hard for me to get Diamond back? Here's the thing. You ever heard of, you're climbing up a mountain, and there's this big boulder, and it's like a big weight, it's pushing you down. And here's the thing. You have to have more endurance to push that boulder up the hill. Okay. When you lose the momentum, you got to push that boulder up the hill. You've got to push harder. And guess what? It's going to test your endurance. It's going to test all the things, and you're going to have thoughts to quit. Because I will tell you, I have thoughts asking myself, is this even worth it? Is this even worth it? Then I look at my 10-year-old daughter. She literally can mimic how I talk on Zooms, how I talk to customers. You know why? Because she's watching me. She's watching every single move that I'm making. So what is it going to look like if she sees Mom and quit? What is that going to teach her? That I don't want it to teach her that, hey, when things get hard, just quit, because it's easier to quit. Why quit? You went this far. You've came this far. Why quit? It's not worth it. It's not worth quitting. And that's one of the things that I kept telling myself is that I'm not going to quit, because I came this far. I didn't come this far for nothing. Because I'm going to the top. I want to be one of those top enrollers. I want to be one of those top income earners. I want to be one of those things that's going to be earning trips to the CEO's ranch. I want to be one of those people. I don't care if I say this for the next 6 years, however long it takes, I ain't quitting. And that's one of the things. You have to take quitting off the table. You have to, okay? It's all in your mindset. And so that is how I got myself out of that rut. I got myself out of that hole. When I can tell you, there's times where I cried, and I cried to my husband asking, like, I don't understand, like, why am I in this situation? Why did I lose? But God kept giving me this peace, and He kept telling me, you keep pushing, because you keep pushing, guess what? You're going to break through that wall. You are eventually going to break through that wall. And that is literally what happened at the end of months. It happened to me and my team, and I got Diamond back. We got Diamond back this month, and I was literally so excited, because I was like, there's the breakthrough. I've been fighting for this for 3 months, but I chose not to give up. Okay. So it's all a choice. It's all of, what do you want? You want to either let it knock you down and you stay down, or you get up and you fight for your why. You remember why you started. Okay. Did you start because you wanted to change your life? Did you start because of your kids and your husband? Whatever that is, I want you to remind yourself of that why every single day, because that's exactly what I had to do. I had to remind myself every single day. And that's how I pushed myself out of that, pushed myself through that wall. But at the same time, guess what I did? I took my team with me. I didn't do it by myself this time. Because when I went Diamond the first time, I was by myself. When I went Diamond this time, I have a team of leaders rising up. And that is exactly what God has set it up for, as in He's going to give me set up for a comeback, but even stronger comeback. Because guess what? I ain't losing Diamond again. We're going up from here. We're not going backwards. We're not going anything. But if you have those distributors that you have to like pull along the way, sis, don't exhaust yourself in that. You take the ones that want to go with you. You take the ones, don't worry about it, who so and so quits. Okay, guess what? God's going to replace them. and believe in that and trust that he's going to replace them, because he's going to take you exactly where he wants you to go. But you've got to learn to let God teach that lesson to you. And you've got to learn, because that's one of the things, like when I went through that, when I surrendered my business, I said, Lord, I'm listening. You got my attention. Whatever it is that you want to teach me in this moment, I'm listening. I'm ready. I'm ready to listen. I'm ready to grow, because I don't want to be like the Israelites in the wilderness that wandered around for 40 years. And when God had their promise right there, and they kept going in circles and in circles, but God gave them instructions on how to get their promise. But that promise didn't come to pass because they didn't do what God told them to do. I don't want to be that one. I want to be, hey, God's got a promise for me and my family, and I want to run for it. But I have to be willing to say, God, I'm willing to listen. Sometimes lessons are hard to learn. I'm willing to pull up my big girl panties, and I'm willing to listen, and I'm willing to do the things, whatever it is that you're trying to teach me. So that is what helped me get out of that, and that is what helped me push. I mean, sis, if you feel like you're pushing, because there's times where I felt like I was pushing so stinking hard that I was hitting a brick wall. But that brick wall felt like it was more like stone or steel. And but you know what? I kept pushing. And times where when the enemy tried to put in my mind thinking, oh, well, maybe this just isn't for you. That is a lie from the enemy. This can be for anybody if you're just willing to do it. You just got to be willing to show up. But you also got to stop pointing at so-and-so and so-and-so. Well, if so-and-so would work on my team, then I would not be where I'm at. If so-and-so would actually do their job, then I wouldn't be where I'm at. Stop looking at what they're doing, and you focus on what you're doing. Okay. What are you doing? Are you doing the things? Are you being consistent? Are you doing your host to post? Because if you're missing any of those, that's where you're missing. That's the missing piece you're missing. Okay. And then the other thing is self-development. If you are not doing self-development, you are missing a huge part of what this business really truly can do for you. It's molding you into the leader that you're supposed to be. Because I always say, God is shaping me to be a leader before he puts me into an ambassador team. I've got to be that leader that my team needs from me. So along the way, he's going to be molding me and shaping me as I climb that ladder. But I gotta be willing for those times, those moments, because I can guarantee that nobody, Morgan Martin, Jade Hooper, all these people that we look at, they didn't go through things, or they went through things to get to where they're at. We only see where they're at, and we think, man, it must be easy for them. Oh, that so-and-so got it because she's got the looks and the eyelashes and the hair and the style and all of that stuff. Girl, that has nothing to do with it. It's the fact that if you're going to do the things, okay, just show up and be you. Don't be like thinking that you have to be all put together. There's times where I do lives and I look like I just rolled out of bed. But I'm like, you know what? I'm showing up because it's Hot Mess Monday or whatever, and that's okay. So just don't be looking to the left. You put those blinders on, you look straight ahead, and you focus, and you work and run towards that goal.
That's so good. I should have saved that one for the last, but I have one more thing to ask you, but that was so good. Okay. So how do you work your business and stay consistent as a busy mom? Like, do you schedule out work time? And I know like it's kind of trial and error, like for everybody to figure out what works best for you, but do you have any tips on how you work yours and things like that?
Yes. So what I do is in the morning, I usually get up every single morning and I make my husband's breakfast. And me, my daughter and husband, we're eating breakfast, and we usually do our Bible study and prayer time, and then he goes to work, and usually I have to get up about 5. It's like 5:50 every morning. Okay. And then by that time, I start getting dressed and I get my daughter's dressed for her to go to school. After I drop her off, I need my coffee. I cannot function without my coffee. So I make my coffee and then I do self-development, and then I sit down and do the things. Okay. And so like first things I'm going to do is I'm going to send out my messages for host to post. And then I'm going to post a post on Facebook, and I'm going to post my coffee stories on my stories. And then I'm going to get my follow-ups, send some friend requests, and I only work pockets of my time. Okay, so if I have to go, because we live in an apartment, so I have to go do laundry at the laundromat. So what I do is when I go those days, I take my laundry, and guess what? I'm working in between while I'm waiting for those loads to be done. And you know, same thing with going to pick up my daughter from school. I'm working in the car line. Just moments of your day, you've got to find what works for you. Even if that's just, even if you work, you know, a full-time job, even if it's just, you might have to get up 30 minutes earlier in the morning. Okay. If you're like me, I hate getting up in the mornings. I am not a morning person at all. My husband is, he's complete opposite, but I am not. I'm like, I need my coffee. I can't function. I like my sleep, all the things. But if you have to get up that 30 minutes earlier to send your messages out and all of those things, then that's fine. Another thing that I do want to tell is I get a lot of people that tell me, well, I'm overwhelmed. First and foremost, don't ever feel like you have to respond to the messages immediately. They're not going to die if they have to wait on you to respond. Okay. So if you are busy being a mom, working, being a wife, or whatever, one of the things I do is I glance at my phone. If it's something that can wait, I put my phone down and I get to it when I can. Now, my newbies know if it's a newbie question, I do help them. They have that security knowing that I do help them. But for the most part, I respond to them when I can. Okay. So y'all just make sure y'all take that stress off, thinking like, oh, I got like 50 something messages and I got to respond real quick, but I also got to do this and this and that. Well, hey, they can wait. They can wait. So take that stress off of yourself and not being overwhelmed with that. Okay. Because if you're new, that's what I always tell my newbies a lot too. So schedule out your day. Find out what's going to work for you. The other thing that works for me too, especially from someone that works from home. So I can't work from my recliner. I cannot work in my bed. If I do, I get lazy and I scroll and I want to watch TV or I want to fall asleep. One or the two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get dressed for the day like I'm going to work. I want to sit in my desk, and that's when I get work done, because that is the time that I'm working. I'm not scrolling on social media. I'm not scrolling TikTok, Reels, or whatever. Okay. I am getting my work done. I do that first, and then I can do the other things. So being disciplined in that part is very, very important. If you don't have any discipline, find something that's going to help you be disciplined. That is what's helped me, is when I'm on my desk, that's what I'm doing at that very moment, is working. And then you know, if I'm sitting in my recliner, I want to be watching a movie with my husband or a TV or whatever, you know. And so so just make sure you schedule out your day, because if you don't, then you will find yourself being overwhelmed, being behind, and all of that stuff. Another thing, give yourself grace. If you had a crazy day and all you can do is send out post messages and throwing up a post, hey, that's awesome. Okay, that's something that you can do. But just make sure you are, you know, just being consistent in those things, because it will pay off.
Sorry if you heard them. Okay, that was so good. And what I wanted to say to kind of go along with that is, I heard, and it's like always stuck with me, if you plan to fail, you fail to plan. I might have said that backwards. Okay, so sorry. So that was so good. I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. This was so good. Thank you for jumping on and pouring into us tonight and sharing all your tips. Let me